Breaking news, a CNN exclusive. President Trump's own National Security Council has urged him to take major action against Russia for the poisoning of former spy Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia in the UK. The NSC has said that Trump should expel Russian diplomats, some number of them. They didn't give a specific number, but diplomats, a bunch of them, from the United States and send them home to Moscow. This puts Trump on the spot because it took his White House 10 days to officially blame Russia for the attack. And the president, of course, you may remember, ignored his national security team's very explicit, in all caps, advice not to congratulate Putin on his win of an election. And when they said specifically to condemn Putin for the poisoning of the spy, he didn't even bring it up on the call at all. Out front now, former Director of National Intelligence, General James Clapper. General Clapper, great to have you with me, and I just want to start with this breaking news that we have. Of course, you know, we know the president ignored his advisor's advice, right, to condemn Putin for the poisoning on their phone call this week. Right. Now, someone is leaking that his own National Security Council wants him to take bold and serious action against Putin by expelling these diplomats. Does the president have a choice, given that this has leaked?
Well, it certainly puts them in a tough place, I think. And first of all, I think this recommendation, if it has in fact been formulated by the National Security Council, is exactly the right thing to do. And it's just regrettable it's a bit late. I think it would have been much more timely had it been done right after the UK expelled or declared PNG 23 Russian diplomats in Britain. But never too late, I guess. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see now how he reacts. And it's also clear that someone or some group of people in the National Security Council that are exposing these deliberations are very committed to kind of forcing the president's hand.
Right, and certainly not happy with him. I mean, you know, it's sort of unprecedented to see this kind of leaking coming out, and obviously all of it so negative for the president. I want to ask you, General, about something the president did about you today. He went out on Twitter, you know, when he was tweeting about the spending bill. He also came out and he tweeted, I want to read this one in full. House Intelligence Committee votes to release final report findings. 1, no evidence provided of collusion between Trump campaign and Russia. 2, the Obama administration's post-election response was insufficient. 3, Clapper provided inconsistent testimony on media contacts. Now, I want to emphasize, General, we have not seen the report, which, of course, is put out by the Republican majority on the committee. But I want to start with the president's accusation against you. Clapper provided inconsistent testimony on media contacts. What's your response to President Trump?
Well, first, the first thing that struck me about, there were many, many recommendations in this report, at least based on the press release. Maybe dozens. I didn't get a chance to count them all up, and I thought it kind of strange that of all the many, many recommendations, most of the 3 he cited, one of them pertained to me, which I thought, in the relative scheme of things, was pretty inconsequential. So I don't know why he did it. Secondly, I honestly don't know what they're talking about. My attorney reached out to the majority staff of the House Intelligence Committee to ask for some explanation or clarification or amplification. And apparently the process is going to be that they have to submit, and it's a 150-page report, to the intelligence community to have it declassified, which is the proper procedure, which could, of course, take weeks. So I don't know when I'll find out about it, but it you know, kind of blindsided me. They didn't reach out to me to ask me about it. I would just contrast this process with that which was followed by the subcommittee of the Senate Judiciary Committee after Sally Yates and I testified the last 8th of May. And there was some confusion about some questions that were asked of me, and Senator Graham went on television saying that I had answered inconsistently. We went back and read the informal transcript, and there were a series of 3 questions, one posed by Senator Graham, and 2 posed by Senator Grassley, where they weren't the same question, and I answered them differently. And we explained all that in a letter to the committee, and they accepted it.
Okay.
which to me is a better process than this. Now,
Maybe
it was my evil twin. I don't know.
I mean, who knows what he's saying exactly here? But I mean, if he's saying something like on media contacts, I don't know, that you were speaking to the media when you shouldn't have been, or anything like that. I mean, is that fair in any way?
It really, no. It's not accurate. If you're talking about when I was in the government, I did not. Now, certainly afterwards, yes, I spoke to the media.
Yeah.
I worked for CNN, so I just don't know what it's about. Now, it could be something as simple as I didn't use the same phraseology in responding to a similar question, but I think, frankly, the real point here was to put out a smear or an innuendo, which I can't respond to because I don't know what they're talking about.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much, General Clapper, as always. Appreciate it, sir.
Thanks, Aaron.